Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of 6 for 6. Here we are, season 4, episode 18, bringing you the best games to watch this week. And ladies and gentlemen, we are talking about conference championship weekend. It is here. We get the matches started on Friday for some of the group of 5 going into the Power 4 on Saturday. A lot of great games at stake, ladies and gentlemen, and it can't get better than this. A lot of games in conference championships decide which teams get into the playoffs. Do they have enough oomph to get in, or do they get left out and sit at home on their couch watching other teams play in the college football 12-team playoff format? Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's give you a recap of what we did last week. Last week's episode, we went 4-2, ladies and gentlemen. A fantastic pick in our picks for 6 for 6, ladies and gentlemen. We have very good on this forefront for the most part, but that changes our season 4 record, ladies and gentlemen, to 61, 39, and 1. Beautiful odds that we got up here. We have over 100 selection picks across the board, so it looks very good for season 4. Like I said, we got a couple more weeks left of 2025, and that from there we'll wrap that up and start season 5 of 6 for 6, ladies and gentlemen, in 2026. So I like how we're wrapping up the year. We could be 6 for 6 in 26, but season 6, we had a little gap here and there, but now we're back. We're doing full swing. The show, the YouTube channel is doing quite well. We're getting close to like maybe 150 views, getting close to that 200. So we're going to have a goal for 2026 to improve that number. So we'll go from there for the most part. But without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's get the conference championship games on the road. In the first slot, ladies and gentlemen, we have Troy versus James Madison, ladies and gentlemen, or JMU for that most part. Number 25 in the nation, Sun Belt Championship, Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, 4 p.m. Pacific Time on ESPN. Ladies and gentlemen, James Madison is on the cusp of the college football playoffs. They need some help with Duke beating Virginia, but the question is, by how much is that enough for JMU to get in? And if Duke wins by a small margin, they will get left out of the playoffs. But we'll talk more about that game as we progress further in our 6 for 6. I think across the board, James Madison has been having a phenomenal year. They've been dominating teams across the board, keeping teams at bay. I don't think they'll have any issues with Troy. I think they're going to end up winning the Sun Belt. It's another great year for this program. So without further ado, give me James Madison to win it. You can catch Troy, JMU, or James Madison, number 25th in the nation, Sun Belt Championship game, Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, 4 p.m. Pacific Time on ESPN. Next up, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to the American Conference. North Texas, number 24 in the nation, versus Tulane, who's number 20 in the nation. American Championship game, ladies and gentlemen, Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 5 p.m. Pacific Time on ABC, ladies and gentlemen. North Texas has been doing phenomenal all year across the board. Tulane has some rocky parts here and there, but both teams look really good. North Texas 11-1, Tulane 10-2. But we're looking at the common opponents that we're going to look at, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to take a look at Temple University. Tulane beat Temple 37-13, but North Texas destroyed Temple 52-25. I think we're going to have a good, solid North Texas team that's going to put Tulane in their place, but it's definitely going to be an electric American game. Definitely should tune into that. But we have North Texas winning this one and knocking off Tulane in the American Conference Championship game, ladies and gentlemen. So North Texas, number 24 in the nation, versus Tulane, number 20 in the nation. American Championship, Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 5 p.m. Pacific Time on ABC, and have North Texas winning it. Next up, ladies and gentlemen, the game that's going to start shaking the college football playoffs. Duke, who's unranked, versus Virginia, number 17 in the nation. ACC Championship game, Saturday, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 5 p.m. Pacific Time on ABC, ladies and gentlemen. Duke, 7-5. Are they going to be the first 7-5 team to ever make the college football playoffs, or will Virginia dash it in this matchup? We're looking at common opponents, which makes this a little worrisome for Virginia, but Virginia beat them in a head-to-head. And against that matchup, it was 34-17 in Virginia's favor. However, ladies and gentlemen, if we look at common opponents, North Carolina, for example, Duke won 32-25, but Virginia goes into overtime 17-16. So it's very close to see what we're going to end up getting here. Then you have the Wake Forest loss for Virginia. It was 16-9, but Duke won 49-32. So I have no idea what to expect from this Duke squad or this Virginia squad, but I think Virginia's going to squeak it out to secure the, let's say, ACC championship bid. But if they lose, we got a whole can of worms to figure out what's going to happen to the ACC, who gets in, who doesn't, on that matter of fact. But give me Virginia to win the ACC championship game. So you can catch Duke, Virginia, who's number 17 in the nation, ACC championship, Saturday, 8 p.m. Eastern time, 5 p.m. Pacific time on ABC. Next up in the third slot, the game that we're all keeping our close eyes on. Number 2, Indiana versus Ohio State, who's number 1 in the nation still. Big Ten championship game, Saturday, 8 p.m. Eastern time, 5 p.m. Pacific time on Fox, ladies and gentlemen. Both teams are undefeated. What a great season for both schools. But, ladies and gentlemen, with the percentage chance of victory, they're giving Indiana the edge of a 50.6% chance of victory compared to Ohio State's 49.4% chance of victory. Ladies and gentlemen, I think they're counting out Ohio State's offense. However, it's their defense that's been dominant all year, keeping teams at bay. They kept Michigan to 9 points. They kept Rutgers to 9 points. They kept UCLA to 10 points, Purdue to 10 points, and Penn State to 14. But there was an interception that gave Penn State a short field. But if you look at Indiana, same opponents, they've been throttling teams, but it was Penn State that gave them a heartache. So we don't know what we're going to get out of this matchup. But if Indiana figures out a way to keep Ohio State's offense at bay, we might be in a shootout for our hands. That's going to be a low-scoring game. But if their offense for Indiana stalls against Ohio State's defense, it's going to be a long night because all Ohio State needs is a short field, and they'll start racking up points, and that will be the end for Indiana. But I think it's a disrespect for the percentage chance of victory that they're not giving Ohio State the edge in this matchup, ladies and gentlemen. So you can catch literally Indiana, Ohio State, Fox, Saturday, 8 p.m. Eastern time, 5 p.m. Pacific time on Fox, ladies and gentlemen. And I have Ohio State winning this matchup. Next up in the 2 slot, some Big 12 action. BYU, Texas Tech. Big 12 championship game, Saturday, noon Eastern time, 9 a.m. Pacific time on ABC. Within this matchup, ladies and gentlemen, they already faced each other, and Texas Tech's dominate. Texas Tech's defense is still going to stand tall, which is going to take care of BYU. Both teams are 11-1, but I just like the Texas Tech defense to really keep BYU at bay. And give me Texas Tech on this matchup, ladies and gentlemen. Before we reveal the game of the week, let's do a quick recap, and then we'll get you on ready for your conference championship games. And the 6th slot, ladies and gentlemen, we got Troy versus JMU, who's number 25th in the nation, Sunbelt Championship game, Friday night lights, 7 p.m. Eastern time, 4 p.m. Pacific time on ESPN. Give me JMU to win this. Next up, ladies and gentlemen, we have number 24 in the nation, North Texas versus Tulane, number 20 in the nation, American Championship game, Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern time, 5 p.m. Pacific time on ABC, ladies and gentlemen, and I have North Texas winning this matchup. And the 4th slot, ladies and gentlemen, we got Duke versus Virginia, who's number 17 in the nation, Virginia. ACC championship game, Saturday, 8 p.m. Eastern time, 5 p.m. Pacific time on ABC, and I have Virginia winning it. In our 3rd slot, ladies and gentlemen, we have Indiana, who's number 2 in the nation, versus Ohio State, number 1 in the nation. Big Ten championship game, Saturday, 8 p.m. Eastern time, 5 p.m. Pacific time on Fox, ladies and gentlemen. And I have Ohio State winning it. And the number 2 slot, ladies and gentlemen, BYU, number 11 in the nation, versus Texas Tech, number 4 in the nation. Big 12 championship game, Saturday, noon Eastern time, 9 a.m. Pacific time on ABC. And I have Texas Tech winning it. And ladies and gentlemen, the game of the week, The SEC has crowned it. Number 3, Georgia versus number 9, Alabama. SEC championship game, 4 p.m. Eastern time, 1 p.m. Pacific time on ABC, ladies and gentlemen. Can Georgia find a way to hit that across the goal line, beat Alabama, make a statement, or will Alabama find a tide that keeps on rolling strong, even though they're a 2-loss team? A lot of things to ride on at the edge of this game. But I think Georgia will find a way to muster this one out. But it's going to be a close one. It's going to be a hard-fought game. But Georgia will find it, even though they have Alabama's a favorite with the chance of victory of 51% compared to Georgia's 48%, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be a game that we all are going to watch at the 4 p.m. slot. Can't get much better than this. So you can catch number 3, Georgia versus number 9, Alabama. SEC championship game Saturday, 4 p.m. Eastern time, 1 p.m. Pacific time on ABC. And I have glory to old Georgia to win it. Without further ado, one last recap, and we'll get you on out of here so you can enjoy your college football conference championship weekend. In the 6th slot, we got Troy versus JMU, who's number 25 in the nation, Sun Belt championship game, 7 p.m. Eastern time, 4 p.m. Pacific time on ESPN. And I have JMU winning it. Next up, in the 5th slot, we have North Texas, number 24 in the nation, versus Tulane, who's number 20 in the nation. American Championship game, Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern time, 5 p.m. Pacific time on ABC, and I have North Texas winning it. In the 4th slot, ladies and gentlemen, we got Duke versus Virginia, who's number 17 in the nation. Saturday, 8 p.m. Eastern time, 5 p.m. Pacific time on ABC, and I have Virginia winning it. In our 3rd slot, ladies and gentlemen, we have Indiana versus Ohio State. Indiana's number 2. Ohio State's number 1. Big Ten championship game. Saturday, 8 p.m. Eastern time, 5 p.m. Pacific time on Fox. And give me Ohio State with the victory. And number 2, ladies and gentlemen, number 11 BYU versus Texas Tech, who's number 4 in the nation. Big 12 championship game. Saturday, noon Eastern time, 9 a.m. Pacific time on ABC. And I have Texas Tech winning this matchup. And ladies and gentlemen, the game of the week. SEC championship game, number 3 Georgia versus number 9 Alabama. It's going to be a tide that can't roll, and the dogs got that dog in them, so give me glory to old Georgia. In the SEC championship game, Saturday, 4 p.m. Eastern time, 1 p.m. Pacific time on ABC. And ladies and gentlemen, our last week's episode's record is 4-2, looking pretty good to wrap up season 4 of this year of going in to close out 2025. And the last season is for, I wouldn't say last season, but the last record that we have for season 4 coming up to close out the season is 61, 39, and 1. Such a great selection that we have for season 4. Not a bad season, but thank you so much for watching this week's episode for 6 for 6, and we'll catch you on next time here on 6 for 6. So long for now. Bye-bye.